Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning to all who are here assembled. Good morning to the members here at the head table. Starting by far right, the Honorable Vance Amory, leader of the Concerned Citizens Movement. The Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, leader of the People's Labour Party. And to my immediate right, the Honorable Sean Richards, leader of the People's Action Movement. I am very happy to be here at this table on this day here in Charlestown for what can only be described as a truly historic occasion, when three political parties in the Federation, disparate backgrounds, and at times having had disparate beliefs, have now come together as one in order to advance the interests of the country. I believe that these three parties here represented have come not for self-aggrandizement, not for lust of power, but rather to put aside historic differences and to bring into being a new paradigm of governance for our beloved nation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Today, right here in the heart of Charlestown, at the Red Cross building, our people will have an opportunity to be a part of this historic occasion, whether via the internet or via radio, or for those who are here assembled to see it with their own eyes. Speaking for myself, I never thought that in my lifetime I would see a day such as this. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen, a set of individuals who have decided that it is better to put country above self. It is better to put aside whatever difficulties might have kept us back, and it is now important that we move together forward together as one and as a unified team. The members here today are here in a very brief ceremony in order to put pen to paper, as we say, and to execute a formal document setting out the commitments made by Team Unity to the people of Nevis. The commitments that we, the people of Nevis, can expect to flow once a Team Unity government is elected into office after the next federal elections. I do not believe it's a secret that there have been historic difficulties between St. Kitts and Nevis. The people of Nevis have traditionally felt neglected. They have felt that the resources of the nation have not been shared equitably. And of course, nobody, until now, has made a genuine effort to address those concerns. Well, that ends today. And these gentlemen here gathered representing these different parties have come together. They have journeyed the People's Action Movement and the People's Labour Party from St. Kitts and have come to Nevis because of the symbolism and because of the significance of this historic accord. We are calling this the Charlestown Accord, and I will ask each and every leader here present, starting with the Honourable Sean Richards, to say just a few words, and thereafter I will read into the record the provisions of this agreement to be entered into between the parties. And without further ado, therefore, I will introduce and ask to say a few words, the leader of the People's Action Movement, the Honourable Sean K. Richards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Premier of Nevis, the Honourable Vance Amory, leader of Team Unity, Dr. Timothy Harris, parliamentary colleagues, the Honourable Eugene Hamilton, the Honourable Sam Condor, Senator Vincent Byron, the Honourable Mark Brantley, leader of the opposition and the Deputy Premier of Nevis, fellow candidates, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is an honor and delight to address you today on this historic occasion where we formally confirm the relationship between these political parties, the People's Action Movement, the Concerned Citizens Movement, and the People's Labour Party on our two islands by signing the Charlestown Accord. We make this pledge to Nevis today that it is not enough for some of us to prosper. We all must prosper. It is not enough for some of us to benefit from our country's resources. We all must benefit. It is not enough for some of us to plan, but the plan must include all of us, both islands. Before we can plan, we must confront our past. Our past has not always been characterized by smooth relationships between St. Kitts and Nevis, has it? In fact, it has been marred with challenges since before independence, and we acknowledge that. It is time to face these challenges head on and not run from them, not ignore them and pretend that they do not exist while we drift aimlessly to the 21st century. St. Christopher has not always treated Nevis fairly. For a very long time, Nevisians have rightly felt that they were being deprived of their fair share of the Federation's resources. They were not benefiting from their fair share of investment, revenue, or services. This is not acceptable, so we have come to set that right. Some cynics will say that another party in Nevis has already given Pam an opportunity to do right by Nevis when we were a much younger country and it was not realized. Well, that may be so, but it does not mean that we should be defeated by history. We can choose to leave a better history for our children. In the face of improbable odds, people who love their country can change it, and we will. So we have to put the past behind us. Our country was young then, too young a nation perhaps to be able to handle the pressures of being newly independent while losing revenue from the sugar industry, which was at the time practically our only source of revenue. We cannot allow that to cast a pall on our future. As real as our past challenges were, they can be faced and they can be fixed. We have come here to confront them today. The time has come to refresh the spirit of cooperation between our two islands, to reaffirm our commitment to that noble idea that all St. Kitts and Nevis is one family and every single citizen deserves a chance to pursue their full measure of happiness. We have come here to let every citizen of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis know that the days of petty grievances, petulant recriminations, and old, worn-out dogmas that have strangled our aspirations for so long are at an end. When we were a young nation, it was okay to reason like a child. But as Paul told the Corinthians, the time has come to put aside childish things. Too often in the past, we have tinkered with the notion of really working together. The half-hearted measures and half-baked plans now belong to our past. It is time to realize the dream of Sir Kennedy Simmons and Sir Simeon Daniel of a better deal for Nevis. We pledge that Nevis will take its place as a full partner in this federation. As we stand here on the eve of the general elections, we are within sight of the most important choice for this country since independence. Our nation is in crisis. Our economy is on its knees. Our democracy is in tatters, and we are being held hostage by an illegitimate minority government. Slowly, we have come to face the fact that the very people who should be making our nation better are the ones destroying it. But more than that, there is an agonizing sapping of confidence across the Federation as we watch our tourist industry decline. Other nations of the world brand us as a threat to their security because of corrupt practices of our government. Each day brings further evidence that it cannot be business as usual. To those who cling desperately to power through corruption and deceit, through unethical election practices like buying votes and padding the electoral list, you are destroying your country, and history will not absolve you, because you are on the wrong side of history. These outworn stratagems are inadequate to the needs of our time. Now is the time to reassess our priorities as we prepare our nation for a new age. People of Nevis, This is your moment in time. The Federation is ready for reform. The Federation is ready for real unity. Unity of conviction, unity of purpose, unity of action. We must harness new ideas and mechanisms to remake our government, revamp the relationship between our islands, and empower our citizens. So let us make this day a day of remembrance, where we celebrate how far we have come together. But more than that, let us chart a new path for our future. Let us confront this new dispensation with new responses that embrace equality and cooperation, all the while grounded in our traditional values of integrity and accountability. Let us make a better country to leave our children, a country that is truly united, a country where citizens work together for the benefit of all to create a better, more hopeful world. We have the opportunity to give them that. Today, we commit ourselves to work together to put our nation on that path forever. It is therefore my pleasure to sign this historic Charlestown Accord on behalf of the People's Action Movement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman, Honorable Mark Brantley, Honorable Sean Richards, Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, other members of the three parties who are here this morning for this very historic occasion. I want to preface my statement by saying I think this is a moment in time. If we miss it, we will not be judged fairly by the people who are citizens of this country. I also want to state very clearly that it is the people who will have the power to make this happen, and we have to make sure they understand that. We who are here at this table, we are just guiding a process which we think is essential for a change of direction in our country. We cannot, any one of us in this room and those who are listening, if they're honest, we cannot be happy with the position and the situation in which our country is at present. So I make the statement that today we are here to make a formal declaration of the intent of the three parties: the People's Action Movement, the People's Labour Party, and the Concerned Citizens Movement, which are at present in opposition in the Federal Parliament, to seek, with the support of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, at the next election, to institute a government of unity of the members of these three parties: the People's Action Movement, People's Labour Party, and the CCM, when the people are called upon to determine who they want to lead them and to give governance in this country. I believe that the fact that we have, in the last year and a half, been discussing very openly our intent will say to those naysayers that we have been forthright in our discussions, that they know where and what we have been discussing and where we want to take this country, that they have been fully apprised of the intent of the three parties to give to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis a unity government which will be comprised, with the support of the people, of members of the three parties who are represented here and who will sign this accord. What is the overall objective. The overall objective is to ensure that there's equity between the people of the islands of St. Kitts and the people and Nevis. None of us can say that we have not felt the pain of this inequity. We have not felt the pain of the disregard of the people of Nevis and the Nevis Island administration. Since 1983, we have struggled to ensure that the Constitution, which brought the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis into being, that it should guide the process by which the people of St. Kitts and Nevis are governed. Instead, we've seen that the governance of St. Kitts and Nevis has been, sadly, through the process of patronization, through nepotism, and which has resulted in the scant regard for the interest and the well-being of the people of Nevis. We have come today to provide the people of St. Kitts and Nevis with a new, transparent approach to governance. And this transparent approach to governance is not for us who are signing this agreement. It is for the people of St. Kitts and the people of Nevis. The time was when alliances such as we are thinking of were done in the dead of night or in the early morning, in surreptitious ways, and in large measure to the dissatisfaction of the people on both sides of the channel. And I want to say today that our sitting here today to sign this accord is to put an end to this kind of expediency which has governed, which has marked our political agenda in St. Kitts and Nevis. We are here today to provide the type of democratic leadership to ensure that a better day will come, not just for the leaders of the party or the friends and supporters of the party, but for all the people of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, whatever may be your political alliance. We are here today to demonstrate a commitment to formalize the cooperation between the parties, but which I believe will galvanize the cooperation between the people as well, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. We're here to give a commitment to the equitable sharing of resources, and this will be spelled out in the agreement, to give a commitment to a respect for each other, a respect for the citizens by the leadership, and a respect by the leadership, for the citizens. We're here today to provide a new accord to improve the relationship between the people, the federal government and the Nevis Island government, to remove all rancor and all disparities and to build a new approach to the federal arrangement which exists in St. Kitts and Nevis. This declaration today marks us as recognizing the inequities which have existed. And I want to say that when we shall have signed this, if the message has not yet resonated with our citizens, I want the message to go out loud and clear that the time is now. Right. To make a change in the direction in which our country is going, to provide a better day for all our citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, and not to have any creeping dictatorship, anyone manipulating who benefits and who doesn't. I want us to see that together we can achieve greatness in St. Kitts and Nevis. Our people are some of the most capable in the region. Our physical and natural resources are some of the best among the countries of the region. And I believe that with good governance, with transparency, with a respect for the constitution of our country, that St. Kitts and Nevis together can be a great nation. The time is now. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
I want, of course, to acknowledge the distinguished presence of the Honorable Premier, the Honorable Vance Emery, and leader of the Concerned Citizens Movement today. Equally, I acknowledge at the head table the Honorable Sean Richards, leader of the People's Action Movement. And in attendance also are several of our parliamentary colleagues and candidates going under the banner of Team Unity. I want to mention the Honorable Sam Kanda, the member for St. Christopher III, who is with us, and along with the Premier, are among the longest servers in the Parliament of St. Kitts and Nevis. I want a round of applause. Equally, I acknowledge the presence of a very good friend and colleague, my neighbor, in the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, member for St. Christopher VIII. With us also is the Honorable Senator, the Honorable Vincent Byron. We have with us the incoming St. Christopher II, Mr. John L. Powell. We have with us the incoming Member of Parliament for St. Christopher IV, Mr. Lindsey Grant. And I also want to acknowledge with us is the former Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Michael Powell. And of course, with us, we have the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, who we hope will be returned to the Federal House. And of course, to all our Nevisians and Kittitians, well-wishers who are here, representatives of the media. It is, of course, an historic occasion, and for me it is a humbling experience because I sit here among the leadership at the head table, representing the son of a father born in the humble surroundings of cotton ground in Nevis, Godfrey Nisbet, and the mother born in St. Kitts. And I love truly St. Kitts and Nevis. And over time, my fondness, appreciation, and admiration for Nevis and Nevisians and the contribution that they have made to the development of St. Kitts and Nevis, those have grown in geometric proportions. I am humbled that at long last we as a people can come together, and in many ways we in Team Unity are creating a new legacy and a new conversation. It's a legacy that in some ways which we are creating, which leads to the defiance of the history, some of which we have known. And the speakers before me made reference to that history of acrimony and bitterness that had long been part of the experience of Nevisians and Kittitians for as long perhaps as they had been held together through colonial administrative apparatus. And even as we have moved and move of the people to take control as our part of government and governance, and importantly post-independence, we have still had our troubles and tribulations. I wish to God that certainly, whatever has been the ills of the past, we are about redeeming the future. And we stand here as leaders of three distinct parties: the Concerned Citizens Movement, the People's Labour Party, and the People's Action Movement, committed as we are to consecrating the future, not desecrating it. And consecrating it, in part, would require that we learn from the experiences of the past while we build something new and different and energizing for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. I believe that is what today is about. It is not so much about the recriminations of the past, but an acknowledgement that we have a sacred duty to move both Nevis and St. Kitts together to progress and prosperity. And indeed, part of the new conversation that we have started since the historic launch of Team Unity on the 26th of September at Greenlands in Bastia has been the conversation about prosperity, has been the conversation about democracy, has been the conversation about fairness and equity. We have begun a conversation about the virtues of government and the virtues of our people, and what kind of existence we really should have. I feel confident that we can move forward, and we have in fact been moving forward day by day. The fact that we are the first to come to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis and to spell out very clearly and cogently and powerfully what we will do together, not for ourselves, but for the people that we love, is a significant start. The Premier is so very right. We have avoided expediency, for it has not been the tradition in St. Kitts and Nevis that politicians come to you in advance and let you know that they will join with other parties to form government. It is usually after the elections, when some people recognize that on their own they can't constitute a majority, that people will come. In the hustle of the moment, when the bell has already started ringing, and try to squeeze a government together. The truth is, those situations have never worked to the full satisfaction of the mass of the people in Nevis. And so we have started a new paradigm of openness, of accountability, of transparency. And we have come to you and we are setting out what we will do for the people of Nevis. But not just for the people of Nevis, for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. We are about developing a true relationship built on the virtues of trust, of honesty, of respect, and of an appreciation of the shared citizenship between St. Kitts and Nevis. Today we will unearth some of the specific areas in which Nevis will benefit. But from all that I would have said, you would appreciate that I understand and I appreciate, and the majority of people in St. Kitts and Nevis by now must come to appreciate, when Nevis prospers, St. Kitts and Nevis prospers. When Nevis hurts, St. Kitts and Nevis certainly will hurt too, because we are in this together. When the high-paying tourists come to the Four Seasons and all the high-end facilities in Nevis, they are recorded as part of the success story of St. Kitts and Nevis. We are in this together, and it may be a long walk, but we are starting that walk together now in an open and in an honest way. And I am very pleased to have with me working the two leaders who are here at the head table. I am very pleased that we have been able to have someone of the stature and the standing of Premier Amory that is part and parcel of this process moving forward. Because without his experience and knowledge, his own temperament, I believe that this moment would not have been possible. Premier Amory is a jewel for the people of Nevis and the people of St. Kitts. And in that regard, I want to thank him for his long-standing service, not just to Nevis, but to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, in sports, in private management, in bank, in education. Everywhere, there is some good deed that even his opponents would not be able to diminish. We are a good team, and we are united in the commitment to serve the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And as I said in Parliament, I certainly believe it's Nevis time. It's Nevis time to again feel safe as part of a federal experience. It is Nevis time to again to have the assurance that their decisions in electing a Nevis Island administration of their choice will never be undermined by the federal government. It is Nevis time to ensure that at long last we accept that as part of the Trinity, the federal Trinity, the resources of St. Kitts and Nevis belong to all of us. It is therefore Nevis time to be an important part of decision making with respect to the citizenship by investment program. It is Nevis time. No longer must it be that the leadership at the federal end believe that for Nevis and the NIA to get something from the federal government, there has to be a quid pro quo. You have to give them something. You have to side with them. And so we are establishing from the principle of equity and fairness the right, the entitlement, if you will, to Nevisians to share equitably in the resources that are available to the federal government. And we will work that. And we will work that because we believe it is the right thing to do. And we believe that once our part is built on the virtues, fairness, equity, respect, trust, a shared sense of citizenship, we have the foundation on which to build something superior than what we have had in the past. And so, finally, I want to say thanks to all those people who helped to craft the document which we are going to sign. We didn't rush in this, neither did we rush into unity. We called for many months. The conversation was whether or not these new group of politicians, so to speak, could defy the bitterness of history and come together. And for a moment, many said it's hard to fight history. Many said that it could not be done. And yet, on the 26th of September, 7,000 people stood and be a witness to the fact that you could find good men and women in St. Kitts and Nevis to make a turn for better. Yes, the history is there, but in my books and in my heart and in my head, it is not about the debilitating circumstances of our history. It's about consecrating the future. Today's then event is about a better future relationship between St. Kitts and Nevis, about which all of us can be proud. And we have come because there's nothing in the agreement about which we are ashamed. We are fully committed to them. And our words will not be like the symbol, the brass symbol. Our words represent our bond, our integrity, and we want the relationship to be built on that. In closing then, I want to thank all of those from my father's land and those from my mother's land in Nevis who will come on board with Team Unity. It is history in the making, but it must be our joint history. And you never know what we will accomplish unless you give us the opportunity to do so. We want to do a better job for the country, and I trust that we can rely upon you. I trust that I can rely on my family and friends in Cotton Ground, in Castle and elsewhere, to give the strongest possible support to Alexis Dreyfus and bring him to serve you in a federal cabinet and a federal parliament where better days will come to the people of Nevis. I equally expect that there will be no contest where the Premier Vance Emery will be casting, as it were, his good fortune and his wealth of experience to the people of his constituency. And the sheriff must live a very long life. And so I am expecting that the people of Charlestown and elsewhere will give the Honorable Mark Grantley that opportunity for continuing service. If we get this opportunity, I pledge, especially to you who are here bearing witness, that we will look back at this moment as perhaps the grandest moment in our history, when we answered the admonition of Marcus Mosiah Garvey when in 1937 he visited St. Kitts and Nevis, and he admonished us to make St. Kitts and Nevis the best place to be. Today's signing marks a landmark on that journey to make our federation the best place to be. May God bless us all.